Hey everyone. So today we're going to cover NumPy aggregations, essentially min, max functions, and a few other common descriptive statistical functions in NumPy. So you can also follow along with me by downloading the Python notebook in the link in the description. That should contain basically everything I'm going to go over plus the code. So you can open the notebook in either Jupyter Notebooks or in Google Colabs. And as you can see here, I'm using Google Colabs. So let's get started with some of the simpler aggregations that we can do using NumPy functions. So what I'm going to do first is import the NumPy library here. And I'm just gonna show the minimum and maximum functions. So let's first build out a NumPy array. So I want to create a pretty big array, maybe a million elements. Sound good? Is that a million? Maybe one more zero. And if okay, great. So that would work. And then I'm going to save it into a variable called big array. So get that. And now just to show how to call a minimum, or how to find a minimum value in the big array, or how to find the maximum value in a big array, all we really need to do is type in min and then add the NumPy array variable, and we get that. We can also just add a comma and then find the max, and we get the max, which is close to 1. And so that's expected because I'm using a random rand function here, which will give me values from 0 to 1. So I expect out of a million elements that one element would be very, very close to 1. So there's another way of writing it as well. We can write it using using nomenclature or syntax like this, where I write the variable first, and then I am actually then calling the function to find the minimum on this variable. So if I execute that, I get something like this. And then if I do big array dot max, I'll get something. And then if I do big array sum, it's going to sum all of the elements. So what I'll do is I'll actually just print all of this. Should get 3 numbers, and that's what I get. I get the minimum here, which is expected. It's very close to 0. The maximum is very close to 1. And then if I sum all of that up, I get this big number here, which is also expected. It's sort of a half of 1 million elements. And so if I sum up numbers that are randomly generated from 0 to 1, yeah, I'll get something sort of halfway there. All right. So now let's talk about multi-dimensional arrays. So let's create a new array. Let's create maybe a 3x4. That looks good. I'm going to save it into a variable, capital M maybe. So, and then let's print out what that looks like. So if I want to take the sum of all of these values here in the array, super easy. Just do exactly what I did above for the one-dimensional array. So I get that. And if you're following along with me, you will probably get a different number because we are randomly generating these numbers here. And so when you take the sum of randomly generated numbers, you're going to get something different every time, unless we seed it with the same seed, in which case I'm not doing that here. All right. But what if I wanted to get, for example, find the minimum and find the maximum of certain columns or certain rows rather than the entire array itself? Well, I can do that pretty easy with the access parameter. So if I'm going to try to find the minimum, so typically if I find the minimum, it's going to find the minimum value in the entire array. But if I want to find it of just of each column, I can do access equals 0, which is a parameter in this function, and I'll get 4 values back, which is expected, right? And so if you look up here and look at this first column, the minimum value is 0.18, and that's what I get here. And so if you go through every column, you're going to find the smallest number in each column. So you can actually then sort of do the opposite and do an access equals 1 and then find the minimum value in each row, right? And so we get 3 elements back as an output because there are 3 rows. So just to complete this with using the max, I can find the maximum value of every row. And so if I look at the first row, it's 0.83, and that's what I'm getting here as the first element, right? So that's relatively easy. The syntax is super easy and clear. So let's look at this list. So this list right here is other aggregate functions that you could be using, and you can be that you can basically be using. So here are other aggregate functions. Here's a list of other functions that you could be using in addition to min and max, right? So there's like medium, there's percentile, there's mean, standard deviation, all the very common statistical functions out there. So let's just use some of the things we learned in the previous section on a real data set. So what we want to do is import a data set into this Python notebook and use some of the aggregation statistical functions that we learned in the previous sections on this real data set. So in the link in the description, you will find the data set. It's presentheights.csv. So go ahead and download that CSV file to your computer, and I'll show you how to upload it into this Python notebook. The steps are slightly different if you're on Jupyter Notebooks versus Google Colabs, but I think you guys might be able to figure it out. So what we're going to do is we're going to import as a first step the pandas library as PD, because it's going to help us import the CSV file into this Python notebook. So first we need to import the file into this notebook. And because we're using Google Colabs, this notebook is actually stored on a server, one of Google's servers, and not on my local laptop. So once I download the file, I need to upload it to the Google server, which is connected to this Google Colab notebook. And so to do that is actually really simple. On the left-hand side, you're going to see this bar here, this nav bar. Just click on the third icon that looks like a folder, and you'll get these three options, right? You can mount your own Google Drive, which is nice. Refresh is refresh, and then upload is to upload files. So I'm going to upload this. Go to essentially documents or downloads and find your file, President Heights. And this is just basically a reminder that once you're done with this notebook, probably the CSV file will be deleted from the server. So right here on the left, I have uploaded the file. I want to make sure now that the file is actually where I think it is. So I'm going to do a !ls. ls is a Unix command to list files and folders that's in like your current working directory. And then I see President Heights and sample data. So that's actually what I see on the left too. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to import the file into basically a pandas data frame in this Python notebook. and save it to a variable or a pandas data frame variable called heights. I'm going to use the read CSV function from pandas. And all I really need to do is copy and paste this file name here in between quotations. So let's call it heights with an S. And that's done there. And if I wanted to check that I actually did import it correctly, you can do heights.head, which should give you the first 5 rows of the CSV file. And that's exactly what I get. I have 3 columns. I have the ID column, the name, and the height of each president. So now let's just do some summary statistics. And this is what you should do whenever you're dealing with real data or dealing with a data set that you want to analyze. Like, let's first do some descriptive statistics on it so we have an understanding of what the data looks like and could behave like. So the first thing I think we want to do is maybe just look at some values, like maybe all of the height values. And so here are 5 of the height values, but maybe we want to look at all of the heights. And so one way to actually do that is to call the heights column. So height. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste because I know I won't mistype anything. So if I do that, I'm actually going to get all of the heights here. And then I'm just going to grab the values so I don't grab these this index name or this index value. And I get something like this. It's basically an array, right? And then I'm going to save it. I'm going to overwrite the heights variable with just the height values. All right, and so if I print out heights, I get this. Okay, so now we can do some summary statistics on the heights of the presidents. So we've gone over the minimum and maximum, but so in terms of summary statistics, we should also be looking at the mean height as well as the standard deviation. And that's pretty easy to do. So maybe what I'll do is I will just type out the function and in 4 different print statements. So the first one would be printing out the mean height. And so what I'll do is I'll add enough space so that it's formatted well. So I'm going to call now the heights array and find the mean height of the entire array. So that just looks like this. That's pretty easy. And so now what I want to do, I'm going to copy this print statement and just sort of modify it to my liking. I want to find the standard deviation. So standard deviation. And then I want to, let's see, I want to just try to format this right first. And then the mean will change to an STD, so standard deviation function. And then let's find the maximum, or let's find the minimum first. Min height. I'm just trying to format it, and from above, the notebook above, the min function is just min. And now the max function. All right, if we execute that, we get all four operations executed. So we get the mean or the average height, the standard deviation of the presidents, and then the shortest president and the tallest president, 163, 193. All right. So that's pretty easy to do summary statistics. And if you format your print statements, it can actually look nice too. We can also do percentiles as well. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually just copy and paste the print statements and modify it. I like doing this because it's a lot less work on my end, and the formatting, which I feel like takes the longest, is also basically done because of the copy and the paste. All right, so let's actually find the 25th percentile. And the function for the 25th percentile is as follows. So we want it on heights. So I'm going to actually just delete this function, keep the variable heights. So we're going to call NumPy percentile, the percentile function. We're going to do it on the array heights, and we want to try to find the 25th percentile here. All right. So if we want to then find the median, which is the 50th percentile, we could use this percentile and put 50, but we could also use the median function. And I have to put an NP in the front, so we know that the median function is from the NumPy library, and it'll find the median height. And then lastly, the 75th percentile. And in this case, we're going to actually just copy and paste this. Whoops, I forgot to put a closing parentheses. And all we're going to do is change the 25 to 75, and I get it, right? And so, whoops, too many clothing statements. There you go. And so now I have the 25th, median, and 75th percentile here. So that's pretty easy to do summary statistics using these functions. What we're going to do next is let's just show the distribution of the heights of all the presidents. And what we're going to use is the Matplotlib Library. And if you haven't learned this library, it's fine. Like, it's not a big deal. It's really just to show what the heights look like. And I already have all the code here, so you don't actually have to type anything out. We're going to use Matplotlib. We're going to also use Seaborn, which is like a plotting style. So if we just execute these lines of code, you get this like warning, but you also import the necessary libraries to plot. And so PLT is the Matplotlib pyplot function. And basically I am now asking, writing a histogram line of code and then putting the titles and the X and Y labels here. And so I should get a graph of the distribution of US presidents here. So there's nothing to really learn here. I just wanted to show you this is what visually what the data looks like. And then if you do all of these summary statistics, you have basically the raw numbers. All right.